This podcast is generally to create some kind of awareness regarding the notions we cherish about travel to West and the idea that it might be a safer haven for travel. I absolutely would like to debunk this myth. I was traveling to the UK between 11th of May to 23rd of May in this year, just last month. And my experience belied this notion absolutely. While I was on their famed Oxford Street in one of their famous departmental stores, my purse was opened, money taken out, and the culprit just disappeared and ran away. And the purse was hanging right on my shoulder and not very far from me. And I could feel somebody taking it out. And I just looked up into the sea that somebody's just made away with it. When I immediately approached the floor in charge girls, they absolutely refused to help me. They looked absolutely helpless and they said, I can't do anything about it. Why don't you talk to our security in charge? Of course, I went to the security in charge, who was you could say, lackadaisical and very disinterested in my predicament. He just said, well, you put a report out here and fill this form. I said, the criminal is running away. Allow me to look at your CCTV footage. He says, no, we are not allowed to do that. I can't look at the footage. This was a huge surprise for me. Your own store's footage you can't see. He said, only the police is allowed to see it. Fair enough. I said, let me call the police. And meanwhile, the criminal is getting away, and the loss of money was substantial enough to hurt anyone. When I called the police, after a great effort, because each time my call would be diverted to send an email to the police rather than disturb them with your phone call. Finally, one gentleman on the other side picked up and he said, what's the problem? So I just narrated the whole thing and he just said, Madam, are you on fire? Is a murder happening? I said, no. He says, then I won't come. I'm overburdened. The system is overburdened. We have no time for this. Nobody picks up the phone for trivia, and for me, this is important. This was really shocking for me. I said, when will you come? He said, I don't know. Maybe in 2 days' time. I said, you don't even have my photograph? He just didn't respond to that. Contrary to any help, he's asking me the routine, those following a procedure. Are you comfortable in English? Which was ironical because he was asking me after 5 minutes of conversation. I said, yeah. He says, are you emotionally disturbed? Do you need emotional help? So I said, get my money back. And when I told him I needed to fly back to my own country in 2 days' time, he says, go to your embassy. Then I told him, I said, I don't have money to go there. And he said, no reply. That means if you have lost your belongings, your money, you are absolutely on your own with no help. Luckily, I was with my two bosses and I had friends there as well, and my family was immediately going to wire the money, so that was not an issue. Another very funny thing happened. The security officer there tells me, very sarcastically, Madam, are there no robberies in your country? I said, I have never denied that there are no robberies or something of that kind. But my police doesn't behave like your police did. My police doesn't say, I will not come. I am overburdened when they genuinely are. My system is on not permitting me to, or they don't ask me if I'm on fire or if there's a murder. They would come. They may not promise to be able to retrieve the money or may not be able to get it, but they would at least come and try, do something about it. I felt absolutely bereft of any kind of help or support. I could definitely raise the racist card and say if my name was not Mira, but Maria or some Western European name, probably the response would have been better. I would like to say that the money UK is now using is partly funded by the students coming from my country, the tourists visiting there. And if you continue to treat us in this cavalier manner, have this feeling that you are better, it's not going to help. It's not going to help your situation. Any tourist who's going to go back is going to spread the word, and I will spread the word. And contrary to the belief about India, I had my very dear Taiwanese friends over for tea at my residence just the day before. And when I spoke to them and narrated this incident, their friend was sitting along with them. She had taught in UK for about a year and come to India. She had just visited a store in India, a big store, and there, her wallet had, she had dropped her wallet or something of that kind. And she said after, a lapse of time, it was returned to her intact without anything missing from it. Such stories are not surfacing in India. They are not making news. They are not being talked about. Nobody is talking about positive things happening. We are only busy berating ourselves and talking negatively. I would love to appeal to my young generations. I have been in teaching profession for so long. All the youngsters who are, potential travelers, do travel, explore the world, but learn to respect and value your country. I came back with 10 times more respect for my systems, for my people, and our hospitality. I'm sure had a similar incident happened in India with somebody who was not of our race or not or a white skin or whoever, probably the response would have been better. It could have made even the news, it could have hit the headlines as well, and we would have swung into action immediately. I do not say that we shouldn't be just to everyone, but I would say forget this supremacy and this feeling of not being equal. You are, more equal than equals are. I would say you're first among equals. So look at your own country holistically. Develop respect for its system, its cultures. Travel as much as possible, but come back with, with wisdom, not with only stories with it. I would also like to use this platform to invite people who have undergone similar experiences and who have undergone similar robberies, thefts, or some trauma outside and felt that they have not been given their due hearing, justice, or a platform to speak on. I would definitely love you all to share your experiences here with us and make it a place where our voices can be heard and to educate people about all is not bad here. When you look out, I think the West is extremely stressed right now, and the sun is rising again in India in the East. Look at your own country holistically and go outside with more caution and with a reality check. Please share your experiences on this platform. I'd love to hear from all of you. Next time, we promise to meet with something more interesting, a different subject, and discuss it with you. Thank you and have a nice day, all of you.